And it's really changed the way I think about things, because I used to think of UFOs as being from other planets, and I'm not so sure of that anymore. Maybe it's just how things look coming in from other dimensions.
I circle back to that old saying, and I'm not sure where exactly I'm taking it from. It's just kind of in the back of my mind. There are more things in heaven and earth than man knows.
Right. So that's where I get the whole idea that our reality may be permeable. And it explains a lot to me because, well, Bigfoot, we've grid searched an area and Bigfoot's not there. And then he turns up there 2 weeks. Well, yeah, maybe he doesn't live there. Maybe he visits. Maybe he is able to walk through that membrane. And then the people that really get me are, well, Bigfoot can't exist. We've never found a corpse. Here's a quick idea. Look it up. How many ape corpses have been found? Here's a hint. Not as many as you think. Because in most places like that, if something dies, one, the predation takes care of it quick. And even if that isn't true, it's still it's not likely to die in the middle of a path that people walk on. It's far more likely to die in some section of the woods where nobody has ever been, because animals don't like to get together in big groups when they die. They'd prefer to be alone.
Yeah.
I mean, dogs will do that if they're really sick. They'll run away because they want to die on their own. So that's my thing on the Men in Black, is I think, honestly, one, I don't think there's as many of them as we think. I think John Keel had a valid point in saying you have to examine the stories you get. Because if your story is, and I saw a big black, he was on a payphone, a Men in Black, and he was on a payphone. I don't think we're talking Men in Black. I think we're talking about a guy in a suit that's, has a car issue. But if it's, and then he came to my house and he was talking to me about things I did 20 years ago that nobody knows about, well, we got to examine that story a little more carefully now, don't we?
Yeah.
So my overall take on the Men in Black is I think it's something. Can I identify exactly what it is? Nope, can't at all. So I guess my summary for myself is I believe, kinda. But my problem is with some of the big things, like Indrid Cold. Indrid Cold is fascinating. And the screenplay that they wrote Mothman Prophecies off of is really well written. And there's a couple lines in there that stand out for me. And, one of them is like the one where he says, what do I look like? It depends on who's doing the looking. And another one at a different point in the movie is like, sometimes it's just about your perception. You and I see the future the same way because we're in the same place. But it's like we're standing next to one another looking down the road. We both see the same things. Now, if there's a window washer a block behind us, up 3 stories, he's going to be able to see a little further because of his vantage point. And I think that there's certainly some of that with the Men in Black, the authentic ones. Now, I'm going to say not every case is authentic. People will lie. You're right that eyewitness evidence is anecdotal at best. But there's a preponderance of the evidence seems to point to these strangely behaved beings. And I'm going to go, we don't know why they behave strangely. We don't know what they do, but I think they're there. Now, are they with us? Are they against? I don't think they're against us. I think they just may come from another reality. And I think maybe their whole point is just to sow confusion.
Like maybe the stuff that they're saying don't talk about doesn't really matter. It's something else that we haven't even thought to even think of.
Right.
Fair enough.
That's exactly it. Is that maybe if they've got you focused on, we saw the Mothman or we saw the UFOs and, we know they're the space people, that's great because you're not thinking about, how people just seem to appear on this one street in the middle of the night at a certain time. That if you drive there's always someone over there and they always, dress kind of strange. I don't know that that's a thing that really happens or not, but I'm just saying, maybe they want us to focus on the high strangeness because they know there's no solving that, as opposed to looking at something maybe a bit closer to home than we can solve, or that maybe has information that we need, but we're just not paying attention to it because we're all either too fascinated by the, high strange stuff, or we're all just kind of, or we're all like, I don't believe any of the high strange stuff. But we're all talking about it and ignoring whatever it is they don't want us to see. Maybe they're magicians, I guess is what I'm saying. Your thoughts?
No, I mean, I'm right there with you. I just, like I said, I think there's just so many strange things in the world that there's just not a lot of ways to pin things down. I don't pretend to understand everything, and I'm very open to the fact that there are massive amounts of things that I do understand. At the end of the day, I really boil it down to I try my best to be good to everyone I meet and keep an open mind in my everyday life. I just had my experience the other day that I have absolutely no idea what happened to me, but I know that it was something strange and it was just completely out of the blue for no reason. And things happen like that all the time. And when are you going to be the one to walk into something strange? Who's to guess?
Well, in your case, it sort of walked into you, didn't it?
It did. My crazy toe, which broke itself.
So, to explain this a little bit, so you're not, because there's nothing that she's talking about that would break our PG-13. She was asleep the other night. Full disclosure, after about 8 o'clock, I will have a brownie made with can of butter, and I sort of relax. I play video games. I just, I'm done, So, I tend to stay up late playing video games. She gets to bed kind of early because she's got, the day job. And she goes to school, so, it just...
And this was a Saturday night.
Right, it was a Saturday night, and she was just tired, so she went to bed. Well, I'm playing my game, and all of a sudden, she kind of cries out. And then she tells me she just had a dream where a demon had grabbed her toe and broke it. Like she heard and felt it snap.
See, I heard the snap.
And I thought, that's weird, but I thought it was just a dream. Well, the next day she gets up and that toe is broken and bruised, like across. Freaky. So that was her first run-in with something very paranormal.
Because I was laying completely still in a dead sleep. There was no reason that anything should have happened to me. And this isn't just a little bit of a bruise. This isn't just, I kicked something. This is massively black and blue, swollen, misshapen, seriously broken toe. And it's not like the outside toe. It's my second from my big toe. So it's like in the middle of all the other toes. Literally just snapped at the top knuckle. Snapped and broken. It was the weirdest thing.
It's probably Indrid cold. He's a jerk. So, yeah, that was her first, I won't say it was her...
It was not my first paranormal thing, but it definitely was one of the stranger situations that I've ever experienced.
Krysta, you have your thoughts?
On Men in Black?
We've been talking so much about the Mothman that I kind of got an idea earlier.
The Mothman was a man in black.
No. No. No.
Did you see my child hit me just now? Abuse! Parent abuse! Gerald saw it!
Not a parent abuse. I just bapped you on the head like that. You're bad at paying attention to abuse.
Right. Go ahead, you were saying, I'm sorry.
Okay. You know, I kind of feel like that aliens are high beings for, you know, their world. And I've seen so many sci-fi shows, and since you know, I don't watch them all the time. So you think
like
hold on.
Okay.
I'm trying to explain.
I try to get her to get to her point. It's difficult. She's 12.
Okay.
The rest of us aren't getting any younger over here, short stuff.
So, wait. I want her to get her thought out. So, basically, at this point, there's aliens.
Yes. I feel like that the people who have been abducted or so-and-so killed, have they found the bodies? Because if they haven't, I feel like they could have been transformed into some alien thing, and these alien things are now coming to Earth to stop the people from their fate.
Well,
so basically,
repurposing bodies. You mean like this? Not you died and they repurpose your body and use it for something else?
Use it for their own era, for their.
So basically, Men in Black are humans that have died and been brought back.
Reincarnated. As aliens.
Wow. It's a theory.
I like it. It's just crazy enough to work.
It's interesting, yeah.
We like the way she thinks.
If you use that for a book, I want to know. I'm not going to tell you can't. I want to know.
Right.
Your thoughts. I know you've been playing devil's advocate this whole time, so maybe you have a thought that I don't. And believe me, I need someone to scully my molder from time to time.
I guess I'm more so of the thought, not that I don't think there's other life in the universe, I do, but I think that if there is life intelligent enough and powerful enough to come across the universe, to come here, why would they all of a sudden be circumspect? Why all of a sudden would they be secretive? If they have all this information, if they have all this ability, they should be able to know us better than we know ourselves without ever coming in physical contact with us. So that if they chose to do it, they should be able to be copies of us. If anything, who say that Men in Black aren't the false flag and the real aliens? The next door neighbor who knows how to mimic a human being right down to the wire. Because, maybe he's been here for longer than you or me or something like that. I just don't think that whether they had ill intent or good intent that they would need to hide from us. I mean, we're not. If they can go from there to here, we're obviously nowhere near a threat to them. So what exactly are they hiding from? It's like we're more powerful than ants. We don't try to be circumspect around ants. We kick anthills, if anything. Or, we study ants. Or, we make a conscious effort to step around ants or step on ants. Whatever it is we do, we're not hiding from ants.
And
from us.
And apparently the people that made Mothman prophecies were kind of with you, because at one point John Keel asks, why don't they talk to us? And the person responds, you ever tried having a conversation with a cockroach? And again, see, for me, there's something going on. What it is, I don't know. And Elon Musk said at some point that he thought reality was almost certainly simulated, that we're living in like a matrix. So then maybe if that's the case, maybe the Men in Black are the system repairmen that come in from time to time and have to fix something.